The campus bell rang just as the first scream echoed through the halls of the university. Students who were once peaceful began to twist their necks and limbs in terrifying ways. Jiao Yi, a simple delivery driver, found himself trapped in the girls' dormitory as the world turned to hell. He rushed into room 308 just before a horde of ravenous female zombies could reach him. Inside, he found Yu Yurong, a girl so beautiful she looked like a fairy, pushing against the door with all her might. "Hold it. I don't want to die yet," she cried out with teary eyes. Suddenly, a mechanical voice echoed in Jiao Yi's head, announcing the binding of the Apocalypse feeding system. He had been granted the SSS-level ability, Time Stop. With a thought, the chaotic world outside the door went completely silent. Jiao Yi realized he could move freely while everyone else was frozen in place. The system explained that feeding 5-star targets would grant him more charges for his ability. He offered his takeout food to the starving Yurong, who looked at him with newfound hope. As she ate the steamed buns like a cute little hamster, the system notified him of his first successful feeding. Jiao Yi knew that to survive, he would need more than just food, he needed a team. "Stay behind me," he told Yu Yurong, "and I'll make sure you live through this." Yu Yurong nodded, realizing this mysterious man was her only chance at survival. Jiao Yi stepped out into the hallway, ready to test his powers against the undead. He swung his weapon with precision, striking down the first zombie that lunged at him. The zombie fell instantly, its skull shattered by the force of the blow. Jiao Yi was amazed at how much his physical strength had increased through the system. He heard more growls coming from the floors above. Without hesitation, he began to climb, determined to clear the building. Every door he passed was a potential threat or a hidden treasure. His goal was room 401, where another high-value target was waiting. The sounds of zombies scratching at the metal door filled the air. Jiao Yi used his time stop once more to bypass the crowd at the entrance. He knocked on the door, identifying himself as a delivery driver to the person inside. The door swung open, and he was pulled inside by a frantic Wang Wei. "Did you bring the medicine?" she demanded, her voice shaking. Jiao Yi produced the pills, earning a 99-point loyalty rating from the heiress. The system rewarded him with a golden Uzi and 100,000 cubic meters of storage space. Now that he was armed, Jiao Yi felt like a true emperor of the apocalypse. He began to plan the fortification of room 401 as his main base. Yu Yurong joined them, and the group shared a meal to celebrate their safety. Jiao Yi watched over them, feeling a sense of responsibility he had never known before. But outside, the zombies were beginning to organize. A shrill roar echoed across the campus, signifying the presence of a mutant. "We need to prepare for an attack," Jiao Yi warned the girls. They began to move furniture to block the hallway entrances. Together, they would build a fortress that no zombie could breach. Jiao Yi adjusted his grip on a metal pipe as he stared at the dark staircase leading to the 4th floor. He knew that a wealthy student named Wang Wei was trapped in the luxury suites above. The feeding system flashed a new notification across his vision regarding a high-tier delivery reward. He moved his first step onto the landing, hearing the wet, slapping sound of zombie feet. Suddenly, 3 female zombies in tattered school uniforms lunged from the shadows. Jiao Yi didn't panic and simply whispered the command to stop time. He walked calmly past the suspended monsters, swinging his pipe with precise force. As time resumed, the bodies collapsed simultaneously with a heavy thud against the tiles. From behind a heavy oak door, he heard a faint, trembling sob. Jiao Yi knocked firmly and announced he was there to deliver medical supplies. Wang Wei peered through the peephole, her eyes wide with disbelief and hope. She slowly unbolted the many locks that had kept her prisoner for days. The room was filled with expensive designer bags and useless gold bars scattered on the floor. She begged him for food, offering her family's fortune in exchange for a single meal. Jiao Yi reached into his bag and pulled out a fresh, steaming box of dumplings. The girl wept as the aroma of real food filled the stagnant air of the room. A system message echoed in Jiao Yi's mind, declaring the SSS-level delivery successful. A shimmering chest materialized in front of him, pulsating with a metallic hum. Inside lay a weapon that defied the laws of physics, the golden Uzi. He picked it up, feeling the weight of the infinite ammunition enchantment within the frame. Jiao Yi told Wang Wei she had to follow him if she wanted to survive the night. The heiress nodded quickly, grabbing a small backpack of her most essential belongings. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the end of the fourth-floor corridor. A group of male survivors armed with bats emerged from another room looking hungry and mean. Their leader demanded that Jiao Yi hand over the girl and the food. Jiao Yi raised the golden Uzi, a cold smile playing on his lips. He didn't waste words, pulling the trigger as a stream of golden light erupted. The bullets tore through the walls and floor, stopping the thugs in their tracks. Seeing the overwhelming firepower, the survivors dropped their weapons and begged for mercy. Jiao Yi told them they were now his workers and their lives belonged to him. He ordered them to start clearing the bodies and barricading the floor's entrance. Wang Wei stayed close to Jiao Yi, realizing he was the only thing keeping her safe. He led his new group back to the main common area to consolidate their strength. Yu Yurong met them at the door, surprised to see so many followers following her savior. Jiao Yi distributed basic rations to the survivors, establishing his role as the provider. For the first time since the outbreak, the girls felt a flicker of security in the dormitory. Jiao Yi spent the night checking the perimeter, his golden Uzi always at the ready. Far below, in the courtyard, he saw shadows moving with unnatural speed and coordination. One shadow stopped and looked directly up at his window with glowing violet eyes. A screech that sounded almost human ripped through the silence of the night. Jiao Yi realized that the regular zombies were the least of his concerns. The front gates of the dormitory began to groan under a pressure far greater than any human could exert. The heavy iron gates of the dormitory groaned and buckled as hundreds of undead hands pressed against the metal. Yu Yurong clutched her makeshift weapon, her knuckles turning white as she stared at the tide of monsters outside. Jiao Yi stepped forward, the weight of the golden Uzi in his hand providing a cold sense of comfort. A high-pitched, inhuman shriek pierced through the air, silencing the mindless moans of the ordinary zombies. Atop a pile of wrecked cars stood a figure with silver hair that danced wildly in the freezing wind. This was no ordinary zombie, but a mutated commander capable of leading the Horde with tactical precision. With a final snap of metal, the gates gave way, and the flood of the dead poured into the courtyard. Jiao Yi shouted for the girls to fall back and take defensive positions on the stairs. He activated his SSS-level ability, and the entire world suddenly ground to a silent, monochromatic halt. In the frozen time, he walked calmly through the statuesque zombies, placing his muzzle against their rotting foreheads. When time resumed, a chorus of gunshots rang out simultaneously, and the first wave of zombies collapsed instantly. The survivors watched from the balcony, unable to comprehend the divine speed of their leader. Xu Yuyu hissed in fury, realizing her minions were being slaughtered like wheat before a scythe. She leaped over the perimeter wall, her body moving with a fluid, predatory grace that surpassed any athlete. Jiao Yi fired a burst from his Uzi, but the mutated girl twisted in mid-air to dodge the lead spray. She landed softly on the concrete, her long claws sparking as they scraped against the ground. Jiao Yi knew that killing her would be a waste of a rare and powerful asset. He accessed the feeding system menu, searching for a way to subdue a high-level infected entity. He purchased a soul-binding collar using the points he had accumulated from his recent kills. Xu Yuyu lunged again, her speed so great that she became a silver blur in the darkness. Jiao Yi whispered the command to stop time once more, catching her just inches from his throat. He stepped toward the frozen girl and carefully snapped the binding collar around her slender neck. A surge of purifying energy flowed from the collar, washing away the mindless bloodlust in her eyes. As time resumed, Xu Yuyu fell to her knees, gasping as her fragmented memories began to return. She looked up at Jiao Yi, no longer seeing a prey but a master she was destined to serve. Jiao Yi ordered his new subordinate to clear the remaining zombies from the perimeter. With a single command, the silver-haired girl turned her wrath upon the Horde she once led. The other girls watched in awe as the terrifying monster became their most powerful guardian. Within minutes, the courtyard was cleared of any living dead, leaving only the silence of the night. Jiao Yi walked back into the dormitory, his presence now established as the undisputed king of the campus. He was greeted with cheers and tears of relief by the women he had sworn to protect. To celebrate their survival, he used the system to manifest a feast of hot food and clean water for everyone. The feeding system chimed in his head, rewarding him with massive experience and new unlocked features. For the first time since the apocalypse began, a sense of security settled over the dormitory walls. Shu Yuyu sat silently by the entrance, a loyal sentinel guarding the sanctuary of her new master. Jiao Yi looked out the window, knowing that the world was still full of dangers and other survivors. He wouldn't just survive this apocalypse, he would reshape it into a paradise for himself and his followers. Yu Yurong approached him from behind, resting her head against his shoulder in a silent promise of loyalty. The foundation of their new empire was laid, built on the ruins of the old world and the strength of one man. In a world of famine and death, Jiao Yi had become the provider of hope and the ultimate ruler of his own destiny.